Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Well, y'all saw it.
Put them goddamn hands down, 45.
Trump, why don't we start with the positive?
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
That was it. That was your highlight. That was your mixtape from the first debate. Kamala, as far as your highlights.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. World leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. It's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. The alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working one or two jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, and that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law. I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was land, he owned buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young Black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5, took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first Black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this. So I think you've heard tonight 2 very different visions for our country. One that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past, and an attempt to take us backward. But we're not going back.
No, Trump, don't leave. Your highlights was just the one video, but it gets worse. Yeah, it was a lot of lowlights, lot of lowlights. Now, obviously, the dogs and cats are getting most of the attention.
Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. Politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
This man literally just watches TV and cartoons eating cereal, and whatever it is he see is fodder for a real life debate. And the crazy thing is, that's been apparent to most of us for quite some time. Somehow still not apparent to damn near 50% of our voting populace. There's a reason why Cooked was trending last night. We are in fact cooked. The fact that this man made it this far. Dogs ain't been this scared since Kristi Noem was on her book tour. Huh? Oh, we got another fact check.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response.
You repeated that lie so many times that they had to fact check you during an exhale. Like, oh yeah, by the way, that is nonsense. That is the degree of lying that was done last night. Obviously, Run, Spot, Run also got a lot of attention.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences.
As a comedian myself, I just lament a butcher joke. Something that really could have been funny, but did you just say it was like 4 sentences and then give us 3 words?
And it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you definitely did. He's giving a lot of evidence to the accusations that he speaks at a 3rd grade level. Now, Run Spot Run and the Springfield Dogs is getting all the attention, but I, of course, like to get into the nitty gritty and dig deep. Did you in fact say that Kamala Harris is trying to give transgender operations to illegal aliens in prison?
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
That's what I thought you said. That's what I thought you said. Now, obviously, the Republicans have done a lot to try and push the narrative that Kamala Harris doesn't have any policy plans, that we can't get any specifics from Kamala Harris. Yet here you go.
Yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive.
I hate to bring this to you. Guess who else isn't president? Huh? I just want you to guess who else isn't. Kamala Harris. That's right. That's right. That's right. Good job. Good job. Oh no, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, because the AKAs want to talk to you. Did you say that she went to a sorority party?
She hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party.
If there is one group that you don't want to upset, even I know that. I let them buy in traffic. I don't say nothing when they have more than 12 items at the grocery store. Now, really, this whole thing could be summed up at Kamala finally addressing Trump's accusations that she happened to turn black, something that I've spoken at length about here previously.
And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was land, he owned buildings. And he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this.
But yet, Trump has the nerve to say,
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something, I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her.
Now, what we have here is the purest of Karen moments. You see him in real time throwing his rock and hiding his hand. If it didn't matter, why did you put it out into the ether then? Why is this something that you dropped on all of your MAGAs for them to be able to push and make memes and have random nonsense trending? You went and dropped that bomb, and now that you have to answer for it, want to hide your hand. Trump is as pure of a Karen as we have in this country. And there's a reason you got fired by 81 million people.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
Now, as for your lowlights, Kamala, we have this little clip.
And this former president.
I'm going to have to fact check you there. You did not say what you actually mean.
And this
bitch.
former president.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh no, Trump, don't go nowhere. It actually gets worse because after the beating, Kamala, you know, the woman who you say is hiding from the media, she went and campaigned.
But we have a lot of work to do, okay? And tonight, I think, highlighted for the American people what's at stake. I started the debate by talking about it, and it became apparent, I think, throughout that about an hour and a half, that, look, this is very much two different visions for our country.
You, on the other hand, decided that you wanted to just loiter and hang around and throw out random numbers speaking to how well you did at the debate.
It was the best debate I've ever personally that I've had. We're getting polls that show 92 to 6, 88 to 11. We're having a lot of great polls that just came out. Polling is full polls and lots of other polls, but you see the polls. A very important debate. Now, she wants to do another one because she got beaten tonight, but I don't know.
Why wouldn't you look at her?
If I didn't watch anything at all and just saw how they reacted after the debate, it's clear who came out on top. There is no reason for you to be hanging around there trying to convince people of something that was already the case. We all know what happened. It was so bad, even Fox News had to tell the truth.
Look, make no mistake about it. Trump had a bad night. He rose to the bait repeatedly when she baited him, something I'm sure his advisors had begged him not to do. In the first debate when Biden attacked him, he just kept his cool and kept going. In this debate, he rose to debating, and we heard so many of the old grievances that we'd long thought that Trump had learned were not winners politically. Mm-hmm. And there they all were, talking about how he didn't lose the election and all that. I mean, my sense is that she came out of this in pretty good shape. Now, how long this will last and is anybody's guess. But for tonight, at least, this was pretty much her night.
You're saying she had a good night?
I'm saying she certainly did.
Vice President Harris was clearly well prepared, practiced on the offensive much of the night. Former President Trump did take a lot of the bait that she threw out.
He just didn't seem like he was ready. If you're a voter watching tonight, I was reminded of the great Dennis Green, the former coach of the Vikings, who said they are who we thought they were. And Donald Trump tonight was that guy. Two, she conveyed the calm. She conveyed a preparation.
Now, that's not to say there weren't any sycophants that weren't willing to debase themselves to complain about the refs in the aftermath.
What he said, I think the biggest loser in the debate, and we talked about this pre-debate, is ABC. The fact that we didn't get to fundamental, strong positions that Kamala Harris had taken on very deep and profound issues involving the economy and immigration and ending private health care and defund and dismantle.
Well, I watched it. Did you watch it? I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed of those moderators at ABC News. They did exactly what their bosses wanted them to do.
Yeah. Okay, you watched the debate. Let's get your overall view.
Yeah, I mean, it was 3-on-1. It was sort of what we expected. Kamala Harris got up there. She lied. She brought up Project 2025, not just once, but multiple times, knowing full well that's something Donald Trump has disavowed. He says, I have nothing to do with it.
Without your bravery, we're all out of luck. No, this can't be denied. You gotta be special.
Tell me you lost without telling me you lost. I ain't never complain about the refs after a game that we won. Now, hear what they're saying. They're mad that the moderators actually managed to fact check Trump on a couple of occasions. Well, maybe if your candidate wasn't machine gun fire of untrue, you wouldn't be running that risk. Maybe if he didn't throw out that level of lies, it wouldn't have been so obvious and necessary for him to be fact checked. What they are basically saying, we reserve the right to lie in perpetuity and without any recourse. That is what we reserve.
Let's get a fact check now of the debate. CNN senior reporter Daniel Dale was listening closely to both candidates. Daniel, what stood out to you?
Jake, what stood out was that this was a staggeringly dishonest debate performance from former President Trump. Just lie after lie on subject after subject. By my preliminary count, Jake, Trump made at least 33 false claims, 33. By contrast, by, again, a preliminary count, Vice President Harris made at least one false claim, though she added at least a few misleading claims and a few more that lack key context. I think a lot of Americans say, well, all politicians lie. No major presidential candidate before Donald Trump has ever lied with this kind of frequency. A remarkably large chunk of what he said tonight was just not true. And this wasn't like little exaggeration, political spin. A lot of his false claims were untethered to reality. On abortion, saying every Democrat wanted Roe v. Wade overturned, though actually more than 80% of Democrats supported Roe. On crime, saying it's through the roof, though it's actually sharply down since early 2023. It's now lower than it was since Trump left office. On healthcare, saying he's the one who saved Obamacare, the law he actually repeatedly tried to overturn. On Kamala Harris herself, saying that a Howard University grad, Black Law Students Association president, had claimed that she wasn't black at one point. Frankly, I don't have enough time here to run through each specific Trump false claim. I urge people to go to our CNN website or our app to read our team's detailed fact checks on this and a whole bunch more.
Not to mention the fact, if you look at the talking time, Trump had significantly more time to talk than Kamala Harris did. In fact, one of the things that upset me was how they always seemed to throw up his mic whenever he looked like he had something he wanted to say. They would shut Kamala's down, but they gave Trump all the time that he wanted to talk. Is that what you're complaining about? You can't just leave him out there to talk and reveal his true feelings. It's clear he's horrible. That's who y'all decided to support and stand behind. On your man, stand behind your man. Stand behind your man. Don't y'all love country music? If y'all want to be mad at anybody, it needs to be whoever prepared him for this debate. Laura Loomer. Yeah, he out here bringing this Laura Loomer to the debate.
Like the way they talk and their little DEI Shaniqua voices, and it's just very piercing, very irritating sound. They all have the same voice. I'm talking about Kamala Harris, Letitia James, and Fani Willis. Like all of the meritless DEI Shaniquas talk the same way. It's very obnoxious the way that they talk.
And you want me to think that he was in any way prepared to win with that brain trust? Meanwhile, Kamala just got Taylor Swift's endorsement. Taylor Swift, Laura Loomer. There are levels to this. And by the way, if you heard that I squealed when that news came about the endorsement, that is not true. I don't care what my live reaction said. How he reacted when she endorsed Kamala Harris. Oh! Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and especially those of you that have liked and subscribed to the page. Did y'all know I had a website? I know, it's so kind of old-fashioned these days. Yes, I have a website, reesewaters.com. There you'll find my most recent work, but also my past work if you want to know a little bit more about me. You'll also find a portal where you could sign up for my newsletter. You could also sign up by sending me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. You could also send me any suggestions for ideas, something I need to take a look at, or you just want to say hello. And by the way, if you go to the website now, you'll find a little something special. That's right, we got merch. There's mugs there, there's t-shirts there, there's hats there, repping street politics, troubled waters, and of course, Racist of the Week. Where would we be without Racist of the Week? I don't know that I would have any content.